everybody, YouTubers, whatever the hell, men, women, hey, whatever. When you drive a truck, you think of a lot of stuff. What's the difference between a swift truck driver and a toilet? The toilet can back up. Your mind wanders. Sometime I want to haul a load of donkeys, only so I can tell everybody that my truck hauls ass. There's really no limit to what to think about because you are your own company. You just talk to yourself in your mind. You kind of act like a crazy person. You kind of see where a crazy person comes from sometimes. But even though you're really not technically crazy, unless driving a truck qualifies you to be so-called crazy, it might. But I just saw a guy standing on the side of the road trying to hitchhike, and it just kind of, it's funny how certain things will just jog your memory, and you'll think about, the things that you've experienced, and then they branch off into other things, and those things branch off into these things, and then yada yada. Before you know it, you're thinking about, who the hell knows whatever you're thinking about. It may not even be related to the initial thought. It reminded me of a time, it's kind of a little story from the road. It reminded me of a time where I was fueling up in, I'm going to say it was Marietta, Ohio. There was a pilot there on 77, just into Ohio from West Virginia. And there's a guy walking around asking drivers at the fuel lanes for money. It's not uncommon. You get a lot of people doing it. You just kind of become numb to it. I take that back. He wasn't asking for money. He was asking for a ride. Right down to Tennessee. He was going down to southern Tennessee, and he had been working, at least from what he said, he had been working in Maine, mining maybe, or some sort of extremely strenuous, dangerous job, logging, mining, I don't know, something like that. And he had found out that his girlfriend's daughter got sick. You hear these stories all the time. That's kind of the, again, you kind of become numb to some of these stories because you hear them all the time. And it's like, okay, well, which stories do I believe? Eventually, just stop believing any of them. And it kind of makes you feel cold-hearted. You hear so many phony stories. It's like I was going north, Tennessee's obviously south, so I apologized to him and said, no, man, I'm sorry, I can't take you. And even if I was going south, our company and most companies have a very stringent policy when it comes to hitchhikers and really anybody riding in the truck, especially let alone somebody you don't know. That's more of a owner-operator risk right there. If they want to risk it, they can. But even then, you're hauling somebody else's load. So if the guy wants to hijack your load, then you're responsible for the load that's behind your truck. Even if you own the trailer and the truck, you're still hauling somebody else's product. Told him I couldn't do it. He understood, didn't hound me. Most people, when they do this, they'll hound you and hound you and hound you. And that's how you know they're disingenuous and they don't actually need asking you for it. But this guy didn't even keep hounding me, which I respected. And he went back up to the stairs and just kind of stood there, didn't really do much. He looked like a hard-working guy, if you can put a face on a hard-working guy anyway. For some reason, he seemed genuine. I can't tell you why exactly, but I actually kind of felt a little bad for the guy. After I got done fueling up, I walked up and damn it, these bumps are a pain in the dick. Oh my God, Pennsylvania, fuck you and your road. I walked past him to go inside to get my fuel receipt, and I just went ahead and asked him, I said, hey man, I know I can't give you a ride, but are you hungry? If he'd really been, coming from Maine, I'm sure he needed something to eat. And I didn't want to offer him money. I don't like to offer people money because if they genuinely need something, then they'll accept a meal if they're in that kind of a position. He said he was hungry, and I said, hey man, let's go inside. There's a McDonald's in here. buy whatever you want to on the menu, or order whatever you want to on the menu, and I'll pay for it. Then I got to hit the road again. So he was extremely appreciative. We went inside. I didn't even get anything, and he told me what he wanted, and it was really small. It was like a hash brown and a little sandwich. And I'm thinking he's got to be hungrier than that. He was very humble, but you don't. When somebody is begging for money and begging for this and that, they aren't very humble. It's just not a common thing. If they're trying to weasel you out of money, they're not going to be humble about it. I told him, I said, man, just give more than that. Buy a few things on the menu. Put something in your bag. Have something for later. And he goes, no. He goes, I really can't do that. I really appreciate you doing this, but I can't buy that much food from you. Or, have you buy that much food for me. So he went and just bought a sensible breakfast for himself. Parted ways and gave him a handshake. And I got back on the road and finished my load. Oh my God, Pennsylvania, really? Fix your fucking roads, man. That kind of brought me into thinking about, God damn it. Fuck you, Pennsylvania. Jesus Christ. This is getting annoying. These roads suck. Pennsylvania, PA, PU, fucking A. This is ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. Wow, that's annoying. That's frustrating. I'm not gonna lie. That's really frustrating when I'm trying to make a vlog. And I can't even make the vlog because the roads are so shitty. Anyways, let's see if I can get back on track. My fat belly and man boobs there. It got me thinking, as a truck driver, you're gonna be hounded a lot by people that are completely disingenuous. And you gotta learn to not give everybody money. Some people are real shitbags, and they're gonna do whatever they want to, whatever they have to annoy you enough to give them a dollar. One time I had, and this is the opposite of humble, I had somebody, I can't tell you how many times I've had this story. A woman and a younger lady knocked on my door at a truck stop. I wasn't a sleeper. I was going to bed. I was down in Georgia, and they knocked on my door. I went up there to see what was. Nothing pisses a truck driver off more, by the way, than when they're in their sleeper and you knock on the door. That's lot lizard tactics, man. That's annoying. Because if the driver isn't in the fucking driver's seat or the passenger seat, they don't want to be bothered. And even if they're in the driver's seat and the passenger seat, that doesn't mean they want to be bothered. But it means that they're available. But if they're not visible, that means they're in the bunk and they're trying to get some sleep. So don't bother them. But anyways, that's beside the point. So they knock on my door. They're dressed appropriate, I guess, nicely, whatever. And they say, oh, well, I'm sorry to bother you, but is there any way we can get a few dollars from you? Our car ran out of gas, and my debit card's not working. I can't get any gas. We had to go to a funeral. We don't have the money to get back home now. Blah, 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 blah. So I knew their story was shit, but just to get them out of there, I gave them, how much did I give them? $10 maybe? I think I gave her $10. And she actually looked up at me from the ground. I was sitting here in the driver's seat. The lady looked up at me from the ground and said, is this it? Is this all you can give me? I was like, okay, well, just give me the fucking money back then. And I was like, if that's not good enough for you, just give it back to me. I'll use it. You might have, a 13-gallon tank you gotta fill. I got two 150-gallon tanks I gotta fill, you stupid bitch. So give me my money back. She said, okay, well, this'll do. And then she just turned around and walked away. I've had so many people like that, There's been so many instances like that. That you just, again, you eventually, just kind of give everybody the cold shoulder. There was one guy I remember, this happens a lot when you go to inner cities like Detroit, areas that are just not in good shape. And I had a guy, there's this place, Lion Meat. They have yellow day cabs with black trailers, if that rings any bells. But whenever you checked in, you had to park about a city block away with your truck in a parking lot, and then you walked the city block to an office and when you go in and check in, and then they, say this door, that door, whatever. I got out of my truck, I walk halfway down the block, and this guy comes up to me, hounding me for money. Just asking me, hey man, you got any money you can spare, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't even realize it, but I had my wallet in my hand. I said, no man, I don't have any cash on me. And then I realized I had a 20 sticking halfway out of my wallet. And people are going to say, man, well, what an asshole. Why didn't you just give him some money? And here's the answer. Because you can't afford to give everybody money. You can't afford to give everybody that asks you for money. You just can't. I said, no, man, I can't. And then I realized I had the 20 sticking out. I realized he saw it, and I saw it. And so I just said, okay, look, man, I just don't want to. I said, I just can't. I just can't give him money right now. And he followed me he walked all the way to the damn door with me to the office, hounding me about it. And I said, dude, I can't give any money. So I go inside the office. I'm in there for 10 minutes checking in, at least 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. So I figured he'd be long gone when I came back. He was out there waiting for me. Now this, in my opinion, is when a harmless situation turns into a possible dangerous situation. Because he took the time to wait for me. That's not acceptable to me. So he starts following me again and asking me for money, and like, well, do you have any bottles in your truck you can give? And I stopped him. I said, look, dude, if you follow me to my fucking truck, and if I even see you looking at me getting in my truck, and you know what truck I'm getting into, we're gonna have an issue, and I don't mean me calling the police. And I reached into my pocket and I started to grab a knife. And he backed away with his hands up in the air and turned around and walked away. And I realized that could have been a bad, stupid ass move on my part. Hell, he could have had a gun for all I knew. But I could not just let him hound me like that. And then when he waited for me, I took that as a threat. I just did. He didn't take no for an answer, and I took it as a threat that he sat there and waited for me. And I didn't want him to see what truck I was going to get into, because I knew I had to be there for the next 4 or 5 hours, because they take a while to load there. Thankfully he left without causing any further situation. The point of this vlog, I guess, is you don't have to give everybody that you see money. Because if you did, you'd be broke. If everybody that asked you for money got it from you, you wouldn't be able to do it. Uncle Sam already takes enough money to give to these people. You should not feel obligated to do it. And you need to be able to protect yourself in situations like I was in. And I'm not trying to sound like a hard ass, because I'm not. I've never really been in a fight in my life. If it actually came down to it, I'd like to at least, think that I could, put up some kind of a fight, especially if I had my knife with me, which I always have a knife on me, even if it's just a little pocket knife. Alright, so I don't know what the deal was there, but my phone decided to stop recording at 17 and a half minutes on that last vlog. Kind of cut me off. I don't know. And then it wouldn't record. I deleted it. I thought maybe I had a whole bunch of, or maybe I had too much stuff on my phone, too much in the memory. But I got the 128 gigabyte phone, so I deleted a whole bunch of videos and it still wouldn't record. But restarted my phone and it works now. So I don't know. Oh, great! Here comes the rain. But what I was saying basically was, don't feel obligated to give people money every time they ask, because you will run out of money so fast that your head will spin. And the sad part is, it's kind of the word on the street that truckers make good money. So whenever people are congregated around an area that's, populated by truck drivers, they think that, we have a lot of money. And depending on the company that you work for and how hard of a worker you are and whatnot, then yeah, you might make good money. I make decent money. But at the time I didn't make nearly as good of money as I do now. And, but there were other drivers that probably made more than me there. And drivers that made less than me. So it just really all depends. But, people think that truckers are made out of money. A lot of people do. People people that are ignorant to the industry anyway. Like, just be safe. Don't do. I mean, like I said, it could have ended badly for me when I threatened that guy, because like I said, I don't fight. I've never been in a big fight before. So, but at the same time, I genuinely felt like I needed to go ahead and make myself sound tougher than I really was, I guess. And sometimes you kind of have to, I guess, you know. You run into people like that, and you gotta do what you gotta do on the road. Hey guys, we'll see you later, and take her easy. Bye. Let's see if we got a little bit of rain. Look at that river. I'm home, off the road, and I guess I will go ahead and get ready for bed. I gotta get back on the road in the morning and go back to the Pennsylvania area and unload, and picking up a load of meat from there. Take a load of bacon and bringing it back to, where am I coming back? Back to the Lima, Ohio area. So, yeah, at least I go home for a night. Just kind of sucks though, because my wife and daughter are at her parents' house sitting in Columbus. So even though I got home, I did not get home to see them, unfortunately. But I will next time I'm home, probably. Anyways, y'all have a good one, and take care. We'll see you later.